Welcome to the Burn Bright Today podcast with Jennifer Marcenelle, bringing you a holistic healing revolution. Healing is about self-care and seeking help when you need it. Stay tuned as Jennifer shares tools such as diamond and gemstone therapy, mindset, and practical steps to work through your journey. Healing takes patience and actionable steps. Jennifer knows, she's lived it, and so have her clients. You can go from stress, burnout, chronic pain, and illness to burning bright and living a life you dream.
Hello, my friends, and greetings from the Burn Bright bunker. Coming to you again from my bunker to yours. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm Jennifer Marcenelle, and I am a board-certified holistic registered nurse, and I have multiple certifications in various energy medicine modalities, such as neurolinguistics programming, gemstone diamond therapy, and Reiki practitioner. So welcome to another exciting episode of Burn Bright Today. This week we're talking about what the bleep do I do with this relationship? So we're going to be addressing what I call and what I see in my practice as Mr. and Mrs. Smith syndrome. So maybe with all the crazy changes that have been going on through 2019 and what's currently on our plates, you know, perhaps you feel like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt in the hit movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where you've been now home alone together and it's got you at each other's throats and you're destroying your house from the inside out and trying to decide whether you're going to stay together or go your separate ways. So that could be. And if this is you, you're not alone. Okay. We've been talking about this so much since 2019. You've heard me talk about this all last year on Burn Bright Today Radio, that 2019 was the year of breaking up with codependency. So what we didn't leave behind last year, we're sure to have to address it or make some decisions or make some changes moving into 2020. And I'm sure we're all seeing this in one way or another. So let's just back up for a moment and let me just provide a little bit of context and might give you just a little bit of relief that, first of all, if your relationships are really up in the forefront right now, really gaining your attention, perhaps it's your spouse or your life partner, or with your children, your family members, a loved one, it could be a boss or colleagues. Our relationships are really up at the top, getting a lot of attention right now because our relationships need to have attention. There's a big, huge spiritual awakening going on. I've been talking about it for about 16 months now. And, you know, Mother Earth is raising her vibrations, and so are we. And as a part of that, as a part of the spiritual awakening and part of 2020, the year of perfect vision, we're starting to see things more clearly. We're starting to now see things of what was underneath that's now being brought up that really needs our attention. And it's kind of helpful. I really try to make sure that all of my clients know this, that if your relationship is going through a rocky period, or you're trying to decide, are we going to stay together? Or are we going to move on separately? To really just kind of give yourself a break and realize that it's not your fault. This is a natural progression of what's taking place right now. And I can only say that because I've been through it. So pot calling the kettle black here. Okay. And I'll tell you a little bit more about my personal story. But regardless of how it's presenting itself in our lives, with what type of a relationship it is, one thing is for sure, that in the next 5 months, Pluto is in retrograde. And Pluto is the planet of birth, death, rebirth. And what it will do is bring up what's been hidden so that we can see clearly, so that we can see what was always lying underneath, what was the problem underneath, so that we can learn from it, address it, and make, you know, course correction changes to move forward. So you're not alone. It's not your fault. All of us are going through this or have already been through it in one way or another. So, and in today's podcast, we're also going to talk about, I'll provide how I assist my clients in my practice as they're going through these relationship issues. So there is hope. Okay. Now, let's take a step back for a little bit and talk about relationships, because I think it's helpful to remember that we have many different types of relationships. The people in our lives, our partner, our boss, our colleagues, our families, our pets, even our material possessions, our health, even down to our cells, our tissues, our organs, our whole body, and our energy field. And the single most important relationship we'll ever have is that relationship that we have with ourselves. And that's a big part of what we're addressing now with the spiritual awakening, is to really get into self-love and really improving our own relationship with ourselves and our relationship with the divine in any way that that presents itself to you. So all of this is being brought to light. We're evaluating it, we're making changes, and we're spiritually evolving, whether we like it or not. So just a little story here, yet another confessions of a holistic nurse. But a couple of years back, one of the things I had done, one of the commitments I had made to my health and wellness, and I had done for many years. As a matter of fact, I quit caffeine and sugar, I think 4 times. And then when I was finally actually able to let go of let go of caffeine and sugar, it was in July. And what I found out was an uncomfortable truth, that as soon as I went off of caffeine and sugar, first of all, I lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks and my entire body composition changed. But what else came with that is, what I did not realize is that sugar is a narcotic. And I did an entire radio show on this, so you can click back in the archives and watch that if you'd like more information. I did not realize that sugars are narcotic, and it lights up more in the brain than cocaine does. And what I did not know is, by having my coffee in the morning with sugar and cream every day, I was self-medicating, and I didn't even know it. And it wasn't until I was off caffeine and sugar in that 6-week period, all of a sudden, I could start seeing things that I have never been able to see this. And I do know that I have clients and friends and colleagues who have come off the same with alcohol. When they took alcohol out of their diet, the same thing. They suddenly started seeing what was really going on in their life and why they were consuming alcohol. So for me, it was consuming sugar. What I did not realize is how unhappy I was in my intimate relationship, actually in my marriage. And the more clearly I could see, the more I started realizing just how painful the relationship was, how unbalanced it was, unfair, and to a point where it was not healthy for either of us. It was very codependent, where one of us was doing all of the giving and the other was doing all of the taking, and it was just very unbalanced. So over that next 6 months period, it just became very clear that in my case, our relationship, we had to go our separate ways. It was time for us, both of us, to move on separately, and where each of us could go on at our own vibratory rate and our own level of consciousness that works for us. So a part of how I came to make that decision was that I received multiple diamond and gemstone therapy sessions, which helped me. We'll get into it in a little bit. I'll walk you through it. But it really helped me get clarity on my side of the situation, of what was going on, what I needed to see. It also helped me in working also with my spiritual path, see some past life karmic patterns that I had been repeating over and over and over. And it was time to end that pattern. So actually, as difficult as, ending a relationship, especially a divorce, is, it actually is a tremendous gift. And in the end, if done well, it's actually so much better for both people when you set the intention to move forward for the greater good of all concerned. So that's kind of my personal story that I wanted to share with you. So anything that we're talking about today, I may interject some humor, but truly coming from a place of compassion and understanding that it will be okay. You will get through this, and whatever changes you need to make, there's help. So the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to kind of bust a myth. A part of what we're breaking away from in 2019 with breaking up with codependency is a part of our spiritual awakening that's going on, that's teaching us many things, one of which is about relationships. And we've been programmed all of our lives of what a healthy, loving relationship should look like. For example, I absolutely could not stand the movie Jerry Maguire. Couldn't stand it. Hated that movie. And I never really the part where he says the whole, you complete me, just went all over me like a bucket of ice water. And it wasn't until years later, until I got all of this training and advanced certifications and came through this on my own. One of the things I did not like about the movie, and what oftentimes our media and our any type of movies and songs and cultural upbringings, religious bringings, they've programmed us to codependency versus being interdependent, where each person is healthy and whole and has their own spiritual relationship with God, and then they're together in a balanced way, which is what we're moving from. So we're moving away from the codependency, you complete me nonsense, which is unhealthy and unrealistic. Number one, to ask someone to complete you. It can't be done. The only true completion we ever have is when we're truly connected to the divine for ourselves. And I can only say this because once I experienced it, it was absolutely life altering. And I know it's changed my life. And I know my clients have experienced the same thing of making these necessary changes. There's joy and happiness and freedom on the other side. And then a truer, higher, healthier, interdependent relationship can then come in. So it makes room, right? So we're moving away from that habit of unconsciously looking for our unfulfilled needs to be found in another person. Okay. So let's now take this to the energy perspective, because after all, I have an energy medicine practice. So relationships also, we come together in our relationships more than our chemistry, more than our biochemistry, and much more than just our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and our memories. We also come together in part for our energetic anatomy. And I've done shows on this before, and I can share the links to those if you wish. But if our energetic anatomy is not completely balanced and corrected and healed and whole, our whole energy field is off, and our perspective of life and things that we're looking for isn't necessarily aligned with our core values. So if our energetic anatomy is off, our relationships can subsequently become off. And we're actually attracting mates that have almost like a similar or a complementary dysfunction, if you will. And that's not really good for either person involved. But there is hope, because underlying any very healthy relationship, there can be healings that take place of the energetic anatomy, and the relationship can come out so much better in the end if that's what's meant to be. So I'll just touch on a few basics of the energetics that are involved. One of which is entity contamination, unwanted negative energy that becomes stuck in the aura, or trapped in the energetic anatomy, if you will. And I did an entire radio show on this. That's one thing. So if something has attached itself to you that's, for example, causing depression, anxiety, or addiction, then you have a responsibility to get that removed from your energy field. That can really impact our relationships in a way that is unseen but profound. Entity contamination is a big one. And we've all had them. I've had them removed. My clients have had them removed. It's common practice in energy medicine. Energy medicine's been working with these things for thousands of years. We just don't judge it. We just help take care of it. Another thing are what I call heartstrings. And what I call heartstrings are the karmic ties to other people that we build when we're emotionally overly attached to people. And it can be interfering in your current relationship. For example, there can be a heartstring from a former intimate partner, such as a former spouse or a former boyfriend or a former girlfriend. And these heartstrings can be getting into and evolve and interfering with your current relationship. So those can also need to be addressed. And the other thing is there's no such thing as no strings attached. We want to be very, very discerning who we are intimate with. And I did an entire radio show on this. So we can, if you have questions on that, ring me on the backside and we can talk about it. And I can also bring it up again on Facebook Live on Friday. The thing I want to go into more detail today is about chakra spectrum imbalancing, because we've talked about some of these others in some of my previous radio shows or my other publications. But today, let's talk about spectrum imbalancing, because we have, as you know, the chakra anatomy. We'll go to it here in a bit. But our chakra anatomy and the color rays that come in through our chakras not only nourish us, but they can nourish other people. So we all have a need for color rays. We just do. It's a part of how the chakra system and a part of how our physical and energetic anatomy works. It's part of our basic life force. But so it's more than love that draws us together. It's more than chemistry. It's also energetic resources such as the color rays. So if one of us has an excess of, let's say, the color green, and the other person has a deficiency in the color green, we could be unknowingly attracted to each other just because one person's getting their needs met. And that's, again, you're doing the giving and that person's doing the taking, and it can be very unbalanced. All right. So let's talk a bit about the 7 main chakras and the main color rays. And each chakra has its main color ray. All chakras pull all 7 of the color rays, but it has a main ray that serves the chakra. And we have these color rays. Everyone has these color rays, and we can either pull from other people or they can pull from ours. And this results, when this is unbalanced or unhealthy, it results in various chakra color anomalies that show up in our relationships in many ways. And so let's kind of start from the top down, because in diamond and gemstone therapy, we don't start with the root, we start with the crown. And there's good reasons for that. So the crown chakra, the one that's on the top of your head, facing, it should always face up to heaven, have a nice funnel moving one way or another, up and back. The crown chakra manages our spirituality. And the crown chakra the crown chakra purpose in a relationship is that it provides a spiritual connection between partners. And this was something I was not aware of until I really got into energy medicine. I didn't really realize that how important having a spiritual connection with my partner is. And now it's something that I simply just won't do without. This is now non-negotiable, right? The main color ray of the crown chakra is purple. And when it comes in equally to both partners, that's a good sign that the couple can ultimately support each other no matter what challenges come their way, because they're spiritually aligned and they're spiritually supporting each other. So that's a really good sign. The brow chakra manages intuition and dreams, especially dreaming our way through life. So the brow chakra keeps the partner's dreams aligned with each other. They don't have to be the same, but they need to be compatible and aligned. And when indigo, the main color ray of indigo, comes into each partner's brow chakra, in a healthy way, healthy and balanced way, it means that your hopes and dreams are compatible and they're harmonious and you're both headed in the same direction. So if there's an issue with the brow chakra, you can tell there's going to be, if your dreams are not aligned and the couple is not working toward a common goal in their own ways together towards a common goal, it'll show up in the brow chakra for sure. And the throat chakra manages communication. And it keeps a healthy throat chakra keeps the partners listening and communicating well with each other, which promotes good understanding between the two. So if the throat chakra is damaged or the color rays are unbalanced or unequal, you're going to see real issues with communications that, as anybody knows, communication is key. Our spirituality and our communication is just key in having a healthy, long-term, healthy relationship, right? Now, the heart chakra, the whole purpose of that is love, divine love and human love. And when the heart chakra is healthy and balanced and healed and has lots of really solid green color ray as the main color ray, it keeps the partners well nourished in their relationship. and it supports a healthy, balanced flow of giving and receiving healthy love and affection. But what can happen is if one person has an excess of green and the other person has a deficiency, that person can pull that green ray to where the one person is completely depleted and they don't have their own. They have to have their own, right? So that can cause many, many different things. And once you're completely depleted, you can see what happens. But if the person who's supplying the excess green color ray to the person who's deficient, if that person has a major life change, let's say a big career change or something big, even a crisis or what have you, if that color ray changes and this person is not getting what they need anymore, it can show up as control, manipulation. There's many ways that it can show up. Once person who has been really dependent on the other person's color rays doesn't get it anymore, it can really present itself in some very significant ways, almost like narcissism. Definitely control. You definitely see control issues, things like that. Keep it to the basics here. The stomach chakra manages self-worth, self-confidence, and self-leadership. So that maintains each partner's sense of individuality. It's very important that each person in a partnership remain their individuality so they can grow independently and grow together in their relationship, because we're meant to be interdependent, each standing fully, both on their own 2 feet, happy, healthy, well-adjusted, connected to the divine with their own missions that are compatible with each other and with their own sense of individuality, but together as a couple. So we'll definitely see that in the stomach chakra if the yellow ray is off or if the stomach chakra is damaged. The sacral chakra rules intimacy. Intimacy in the relationship, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So the sacral chakra is really important, and that orange color needs to be obviously very nice and balanced, but the chakra itself needs to be healthy, repaired, and in the correct funnel shape and moving and cleaning clearly. For example, I see this a lot in relationships where the sacral chakra in one person or another is completely bent over to the side. And if that's the case, it is extremely difficult for that person to maintain any type of relationship or intimacy over any period of time. Relationships will just continue to come and go. It's almost like they bounce off of you, but it can be repaired. That's the good news. And finally, the root chakra, which rules career and security. So think bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So when the root chakra is healthy, repaired, and pulling lots of healthy red color ray, that helps keep the couple walking together in a mutually agreed upon future that supports them financially and in all those levels of security. And it helps them each fulfill their own individual missions in this lifetime. So root chakra, very important, comes up a lot. And interestingly enough, one of the major entity contaminations that I see in many of my clients that are working with the relationship protocol, I have seen many, many, many entity contaminations in the root chakra. It's really fascinating, actually. And once those entities are removed and the root chakra is then repaired and nourished, it can be absolutely profound, the changes that can take place in your life with the root chakra able to move forward, facing forward during the day and facing downward at night. And I can get into this in a separate podcast in more detail, but the root chakra, all of the chakras are equally important in relationships, but boy, that root chakra rules our security. So if we are not feeling healthy, happy, and secure, we've got to have a home, we've got to have finances, we've got to have food, all of those things that are going for career, security, any type of shelter, very, very, very much about the root chakra. So the root chakra can really take a lot of hits in the wear and tear of life and in the wear and tear of relationships. So why is it important to address chakra healing and chakra spectrum balancing? Why would you want to do that? So for many reasons. Number one, if you're looking for a healthy, happy relationship with yourself moving forward in your life and with your intimate relationships. And what I have experienced personally and what my clients, they just love it. Many clients that for like 2019 was like the year of the relationship protocol, Mr. and Mrs. Smith syndrome, where once the chakras get healed and repaired and balanced between the couple, each person individually, it's incredible the harmony that can come into play. Because when the chakras are repaired and balanced, each individual person has their own inner harmony that they can maintain regardless of what challenges they're confronted with directly. And that is a solid way to be able to move through life. Nothing rocks you. You can handle it. You're not getting thrown so far off your course that you're, resorting to unhealthy means of managing through life, drugs, alcohol, what have you. And once this is healed, it also then gives each person the ability to meet the relationship with your own inner resources in hand. And our inner resources are really what we most need to count on, not resources from other people. Again, we're moving to interdependent, spiritually mature relationships in these next 10 years. And with a healthy chakra spectrum balanced, it helps us make the best choices for our overall well-being. And when we can naturally make the best healthy choices for the greater good of ourselves, it is for the greater good of all concerned. And it kind of takes the pressure off, actually. It's a really great thing. So let's talk a bit about the benefits of diamond and gemstone therapy and the relationship protocol. So first of all, one of the things, and to manage expectations right up front, if this is something that resonates with you, that you are looking for assistance with any of your relationships, be very patient with yourself. And I would recommend starting with at least 3 sessions and see how, and do just enough at a time so you can make these changes so they last over a period of time. I've had multiple and my clients have many, and it can lead to beautiful, long-lasting changes. You can go on to have incredible relationships with yourself, your partners, your new partner, or the partner that stays together, work relationships, bosses, colleagues, across the board. So in a diamond and gemstone therapy session, first of all, it is a safe and protected, sacred place where each person works on their own issues independently. So as a practitioner, I work with clients individually and I can work with couples at the same time. But it is best practice to have each person have their own separate sessions. And then also, if it works well for them, to have a session or two together as well. But first of all, let's say, for example, that you're in or just coming out of an extremely challenging relationship, especially if you've not felt safe or if you have been violated in some way. One of the beautiful things about a diamond and gemstone therapy session is that it is a safe and sacred, protected place. It is private, it is confidential, and you are divinely protected as well. So we can call the relationship in, but you don't have to directly face the relationship. And that is very helpful in many ways. Number one, it's very good for the psyche that you're in a safe relationship where you're not confronting that person, but we're dealing with your own energetics related to the relationship. So the toxic or dangerous relationships aren't actually coming in. It's the relationship that we're working with. And the energy field then, because it's safe and sacred, the energy field won't shut down. And we can actually work with your energy field to get the healing and the insights and the lessons that you need so that your side of the street is completely cleaned and healed. And oftentimes may not have to even ever worry about the other person. interestingly enough, especially in the last 2 years, what I've seen with my clients who come through the diamond and gemstone therapy relationship protocol is that I've consistently, objectively seen a change in their partner, even if their partner isn't a client. And it is a mind-boggling thing, as we say in Texas. It is a profound thing to witness how much the result of you working with your own energy field, your own side of the street, if you will, your part of the relationship, helps heal that relationship. It is profound how the health of your individual chakra system affects your relationships with other people. It's profound. And it's amazing the changes that can take place in your life when you have your own self-care and you have your own chakras healed and repaired and restored and balanced. It's incredible. And I've many client testimonials that you're welcome to read through on this. So what can come up is that some of the color rays, there may be blockages. It may be mild, moderate, or severe, or incorrect color rays can be coming in to each chakra. Or there can be an excess color ray, or there can be a pushing away where your chakra, just for example, the heart chakra won't even receive green. And this is, to keep it basic, this manifests in your relationships in many different ways. These anomalies, number one, can be very, very draining to the person that has them. And it can result in control issues, either you trying to control another person or you're being controlled by someone else energetically. One person is giving too much and the other is taking too much, or one person is trying too hard to win the love of the other partner, or one partner may be manipulating the other partner with gifts of energy, almost like a bait and switch, right? I'll give you this, but there's a condition of some type. Or one partner is imposing themselves on the other in some way, or one is crying out for help from the other partner and who's not getting it. There are many, many ways this might manifest as relationship issues. But one thing that I know to be true, personally and professionally, is that for these moderate to severe anomalies, there is no pill that is going to correct this. There just isn't. And there is no amount of counseling that can correct the underlying cause of this type of issue. Counseling is fantastic. I provide it. I'm an NLP practitioner, and I am a firm believer in counseling, and I believe it absolutely is a part of any relationship protocol. But counseling in of itself cannot impact or correct any underlying energetic issues, because what we're really talking about here is that we've got an energy problem, and for an energy problem we need an energy solution. And that means if we've got relationship issues, we've got an energy problem and we need an energy solution for our relationships. So I've talked a little bit about Mr. and Mrs. Smith syndrome, right? Where we're home alone and we suddenly have now become awakened to who we really are. We're taking off the mask that we wear in public, or that we wear at home, or that we wear at work. And suddenly it's, oh my goodness, this is who I really am. And oh my goodness, this is who you really are. And I had no idea that that our core values were so completely different. And this may lead to feuding, for example, as I alluded to in the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith. But it could also be any type of relationship, like I mentioned, a family, a friend, a boss, or a coworker, but also with life issues such as finances. And I have many clients who have had significant benefit from going through the relationship protocol for financial issues, because we have our relationship with our material goods, our house, our home, our things, or even our pets, or even our children. And we have relationships with our finances. And it can be dramatic how a person can move forward in their career or move forward out of long-standing financial issues by having the chakras repaired, corrected, and balanced. It's actually just amazing. So to recap, that we are drawn to each other in our relationships for more reasons just than love or chemistry. There are energetic issues in our relationships of all types. Loved ones, family members, bosses, colleagues, pets, money. And for an energy problem, we need an energy solution, right? So if this resonates with you and you're looking for assistance in any type of relationship, I would just encourage you to find an energy medicine practitioner that you resonate with. Find someone that is Reiki or gemstone and diamond therapy. Find a practitioner that you resonate with, that you trust, and that you feel comfortable and safe and protected working on these most intimate life issues, right? These most intimate relationships that we have, especially with the relationship to yourself. And I would like to offer to you, in response to all of the major changes that all of us are going through right now, and the stressors and the anxiety and the relationship changes, I would like to offer a gift. It is up to you to choose to receive, but I am providing the gift of a free remote group diamond and gemstone therapy 1-hour session every Friday from 2 to 3 Central Standard Time. So if you're curious about diamond and gemstone therapy, and you're curious about what it would be like if it's for you, and you just want to put your toe in the water, this is a very basic 1-hour session. You'll be in a group. It is completely private. You will not hear the other participants. You'll only hear me giving the session, and you'll be receiving the healing energies of the diamonds and the gemstones directly just for you. It is private, it is confidential, and it's my gift to you. So if this resonates with you, click on the link below, go to offer.burnbrighttoday.com and register for your seat, register for your free session. And I also just want to warmly invite you to share this information. There are a lot of people out there right now really needing help. And there's a lot of people out there that may feel like they don't have anywhere else to turn, that they've tried everything, and they may not have heard of this type of a modality that might be a very good fit for them. So if somebody comes to mind and it resonates and it feels right, please, if you will, share this with your folks and invite them. And they're invited to register independently, and we can have as many of these group sessions. I'll be offering these group sessions every Friday from 2 to 3 Central Standard Time for the foreseeable future, for as long as I can provide these for you. So thank you so much. I hope this topic was helpful to you, covering some of the basics. We can get into more of the advanced anatomy as we move forward in the year. And I just want to leave you with this, that we were meant to burn bright. And we were meant to shine our light in every way possible. And don't ever let anyone dim your light. We are here to burn bright. And that means you. It's a precious gift to shine our light. So until next week, take care and burn bright, my friends.
Thanks for listening to the Burn Bright Today podcast on Transformation Talk Radio with Jennifer Marcenelle. A holistic healing revolution and a life you love is within your grasp. Catch all of the previous episodes and find out more about Burn Bright Today at burnbrighttoday.com.